of Timeout with McCallie. Today, we are back with another great live show today, talking about the Eagles and Bucks game. Another rant incoming about this offense as they win 31-25. The Cowboys and the Packers ended up in a tie as the score went to 40-40 in a kind of crazy game. The Chiefs, they bounced back in a major way against the Ravens, winning that football game. The Giants win 21-18. And here also my postseason playoff predictions as the Yankees' chances to make another World Series run potentially this year again, and Aaron Judge's case for the MVP. Let's get into it. Here we go. Alrighty. So the Eagles and Bucks played obviously on Sunday at 1 o'clock yesterday. Typically, like I usually will do these live shows and record these episodes typically on a Tuesday, but I decided like doing it on a Monday because I have a lot of stuff that I want to say about this football team right now, and I usually wait until after the Monday Night Football games, but I couldn't care less about the Denver Broncos and the Cincinnati Bengals and also the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. Let's just be honest with you guys. I just think that obviously the Eagles started off great in this first half. They went up 24 to 6 in the first half. Played awesome, awesome, awesome football, right? In the first half. But like I just can't sit here and tell you that I'm supposed to be satisfied with this football team. Not at all. Not one bit. Right? The offense, Jalen played phenomenal in the first half. Honestly, I thought that was real elite quarterback football that he was playing. 15 to 16. He had 130 yards, had two touchdowns. They got very, very creative, offensively in the first half. They had some great plays. I thought they had some really, really nice creative plays offensively, running the fake tush push plays, running shovel passes, moving the ball downfield. Especially the defense played so elite all game. Other than the two 70-yard touchdowns, the defense was clamping all game. Jahad Campbell and Zach Bond are elite linebackers, and Jahad Campbell's only a rookie. The secondary, Coop and Quinion, I don't know how we got them on our football team. I still don't know how we were able to get both those guys in the same draft class, man. They played elite football. I think if a football coach or a football player wants to learn how to tackle, just turn on Cooper DeJean's tape. It's beautiful. He tackles with such purpose and technician. And if an NFL cornerback also wants to watch how to lock down the opposing receiver and with good technique, also watch Quinion Mitchell. What he did yesterday was probably. I've been watching Eagles football my entire life. I think I can confidently say that was the best defensive back play I've ever seen a Eagles DB play in a game. It was locked down. I mean, he got targeted 9 times and he had almost the same amount of pass breakups as yards allowed. He had 6 pass breakups and he only allowed 5 yards. Welcome to Quiniana Bay Correctional Facility. But once again, we have to talk about it. I'm sitting here again in this podcast live show, and I'm talking about the same things. The issues with the offensive side of the ball. Kevin Patolo is not a good offensive coordinator. He just isn't. I don't care what anybody says. He is not a good offensive coordinator. And it's almost like, what the Eagles did here is it's basically what this is equivalent to handing a teenager the keys to a Lamborghini for the first time. It's just what it is. I feel like the second half was awful. It was bad, all right? And there's a lot of issues with this offense right now. Speaking number 1, the run game has been atrocious. It's been bad. It's been bad all year. It's been bad. I mean, it feels like Saquon has to fight for every yard. Every yard he feels like he has to fight. I mean, what is he? It's like 2 to 3 yards per carry. Like it's just not good. And it's not because Saquon is like taking a step. I still think Saquon's still a very good football player. I do. I think he's shown signs still that he's a really good football player, right? It's just that They've been poor blocking. Poor. Landon Dickerson hasn't had a great start to this season. They haven't been able to create holes and gaps for Saquon. The pass protection has been good this year. I will say that. It's just the run game has been bad. It's been bad. This has just been bad. It's just been bad. But honestly, it goes to the offensive coordinator in the scheme. Like maybe you should, if they're stacking the box, call some play action plays. Call some good passing plays that can free up the run game. But they don't do it, right? Um, yeah, I mean that's the whole run game scheme and the whole run game, the blocking, and it has been bad. And yes, the passing game once again was awful. It's bad. It was really bad. And if you are an NFL football team and you go an entire second half without completing a pass, you should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed and ashamed with yourself that you couldn't get a single play call to have a pass completed in the second half. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Um, and I just feel like, obviously everybody's talking about today the AJ Brown tweet when he made a very cryptic tweet talking about, just shrug and be on your way and whatnot. Honestly, it doesn't bother me, to be honest. I mean, obviously everyone in the media is gonna take it. I feel like, to be honest, I feel like some Eagles fans have gotten, really like kind of spoiled. They're not familiar. I feel like they haven't been familiar with uncomfortability, because there's no way you can sit there and be like, yeah, they're still 4-0. We're still winning games. This and the other. They're 19-1 the last 20 games. We're still 4-0, 4-0. Like we still have a best record. Like there's no way you can sit there and be satisfied with what you're watching. There's just no way. We didn't have a single pass completed in the second half. That's terrible. That's terrible. You should be ashamed of yourself for having to even allow something like that. Right? And like, I feel like, like Kevin Patolo cannot scheme AJ Brown open. He can't do it. He can't scheme AJ Brown open. He's shown no indication that he can do it. Because AJ Brown is like, he's the equivalent of like Anthony Davis. When Anthony Davis is playing well, the team that he's on is damn near impossible to stop and impossible to beat. When AJ Brown plays well and when we get him the ball and he's feasting, the Eagles' offense is unstoppable. Look what happened in the second half against the Rams. We fed him the ball the right way, the correct way, the more efficient way. Look what happened. Look what happened. It's like I feel like the Eagles in the past 4 games that the Eagles have played, they have played teams that I don't like. I don't like the Cowboys, self-explanatory. I don't like the Chiefs because their fans talk a lot of shit on Twitter, and they beat us 2 years in Super Bowl. Kind of heartbreaking. I don't like the Bucks because this team has whooped our ass the past 3 years. 3, 4 years. And we beat all 3 of those teams. And there is not one time where I came out of those games this year so far where I've been like, wow, that was a really, really satisfying win by the Philadelphia Eagles. Not one time. Not one. It's just like, like it's terrible. It's terrible, man. I just feel like if AJ Brown has to do this to get the team and to realize that the offense is bad, we need to correct what we need to do. So be it. So be it. Do it. And the Eagles fans that are saying like, well, like, oh man, AJ just needs to stop. He just needs to stop um going to social media and complaining all the time. This and another. You never see Devontae Smith do it. Just because Devontae Smith doesn't do it doesn't mean he's upset either. Just because Devontae Smith doesn't go to social media and the interviews and complains his frustrations doesn't mean he's not upset. The passing game stinks. Like I swear to God, there was one drive where AJ, it was they went 3 and out. They didn't even get a yard. AJ ran the same route every time. Curl route, curl route, curl route. Like, what is that? Like I swear to God, AJ runs 3 routes per game. 3. It's a curl route, it's a 3 yard in route, and a go route. And the opposing defensive coordinators be like, he's not doing anything special, so just sit on them. It's bad, man. It's bad. But there is one thing I do want to take away from this. I do want to show this was one of my favorite moments, in the game yesterday. Um look at Nick Sirianni here. This was one of my yesterday. If I can share my screen, I can get up here. Hold on. Okay. It was honestly hilarious. Look at this. Look at AJ. Look at Nick in right here in this situation. Bro, look at Nick talking trash to Baker Mayfield, man. Love it, man. I love it. Even in these situations, like, you know, things may be bad or whatnot, but I just love the mentality of Nick Sirianni sometimes. Some people will be like, "Oh, like it's weird, like the gimmick is weird and whatnot," but I love it. It means that the head coach wants to fight. Well, not fight literally, but he's fighting. He's going to be in there with the lines with you, and I love that. And you could tell that Nick Sirianni, they hate the Bucks. They absolutely hate the Bucks. They do not like this team because they've been embarrassed by this football team. They have, and you could just tell that trash talking was the reason. Him trash talking um, showed that they don't like this team. They wanted to beat this team bad. And Jalen even said after the game he had this game circled too. And then and even here too, going back to what Q did in this game, bro, he had a special football game, and he was not backing down from nobody right here too. Look at this right here from Q, bro, talking trash to Bake, getting in his face. O line, Tristan Wirfs tries coming in and be like, "Yo, no, no, no," and then he took nothing from Tristan Wirfs. Absolutely sunned him, trying to take off his helmet, and Tristan Wirfs did nothing, bro. How can you be a 300-pound offensive lineman and you getting absolutely sunned by an NFL DB, man? Get out of here with that nonsense. Like, bro did absolutely nothing. Um, and the Bucks are 3-1. They lost, and they didn't do anything in this football game to show the indication that they're a better football team than us. And they're going home. They go home sad. Baker loses. Finally, we beat this team. But I just still like never came out of this football game like with any indication that I was satisfied with this win. And they have a lot to clean up, obviously. Still, we're 4 weeks in, and we're still cleaning things up. And I just feel like this fan base has gotten too complacent at times. And if the Eagles are playing like they are, I feel like too in these games, the Eagles are they're playing like they're trying not to lose and they're playing conservative. So when they jumped out to the early lead, the big lead, it's like they're calling plays that they're trying to lose. Like, why are you being conservative? If you're going to be conservative and you're playing like you're trying not to lose in football games, you shouldn't be calling plays. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be calling plays. Should not happen. Because you're gonna do that. What happens when you do? What happens when you call a game like that? Play not to lose against the Lions. They will blow you out the waters against the Packers. Blow you out the waters against the Rams again. Blow you out the waters. They almost did in the first game. Like, oh man, I just feel like they're like, oh, we're 4-0 still. We're four. Like, no, like there's no way you can still be satisfied with that. There's no. We have some of the best players on offense at their position. We have two elite receivers, a top 10 quarterback, and one of the best running backs in the game. They're getting paid a lot of money too. And we can't even get a pass in the second half. 33 yards in one half. Not a single pass in the second half. 62 passing yards through three quarters. That's trash. That is trash. It's trash. It's just trash. Oh man, that was a passionate rant. Passionate rant. But let's keep it moving. The Cowboys in the second segment of the show. The Cowboys play the Packers, a Sunday Night Football show in Jerry's World, ends in a rare tie, 40-40. Michael Parsons returned to Dallas as a former player has highlighted the matchup going into this game. Dak Prescott and the offense, they look sharp all game, scoring 40 points, but the defense struggled to finish this game in the win. I thought Dak played a really good game for them to win this game, but obviously the defense struggled, and there's mixed feelings on where both teams stand in this game. Um, I mean, honestly, me personally, like, um, the Dak played one of the best games I've ever seen him play, honestly. And um, you know, I just feel like hold on, kid. I just feel like Dak played a really, really good football game, and the defense didn't show up. The Cowboys are like the 2024 Bengals. Dak can play an awesome game and the defense just let him down. That's what it is. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. I just feel like, I feel like if you score 40 points, you should win. You should win. You should win. And the Cowboys just the defense didn't show up. Eberflus is once again being bad. The the personnel being bad. Like, I mean, and even the Packers, like at the end of the game, they had horrible clock management, awful clock management. um with them trying to run a no huddle end zone shot to win the game, and they barely got it off. And Jordan Love was taking forever to throw the ball, and then luckily the ball batted down with 1 second left in overtime. I feel like, in me personally, I think the NFL should come up with a second overtime period, but make it like the college football rules. Like, start at the 20, and first person to score wins. I know wear and tear is obviously like a huge importance. Like, you want to end the game, wear and tear, health, but like a tie is such an ugly way to ugly way to end a football game, especially if the game ends at 40-40, where both offenses are playing in a shootout. Like, come on, like they gotta fix that. They have got to fix that. But I feel like Dak. I mean, Dak had one of the all time throws. The throw I think in overtime, yeah, it was in overtime, where he launched it to Jalen Tolbert while being pressured. I was like, "Oh my goodness." He played so good, and so did Jordan Love too. The Packers defense got shelled, man. They really did. Their DBs were horrible against George Pickens, and Dak was doing this against backup offensive linemen, backup receivers, and he still balled out. And that's just the theme of the Cowboys this year. They're the 24 Bengals. The offense, if the Cowboys don't get into a shootout, if their offense can't get into a shootout with the other team, they're losing 100%. And then when they get into shootouts, they have a chance to win the game. You saw it against the Giants, you saw it against the Packers, and when they couldn't get into a shootout against the Bears, that's what happened. Moving on to the next game of, talking about week 4. The Chiefs played the Ravens. The Chiefs bounced back in a dominant fashion after a rough start to the season. Patrick Mahomes throws for over 4 touchdowns. Chiefs defense played one of its best games of the year, and the Ravens look absolutely depleted, as they got depleted in this game, especially on the defense, and serious weaknesses were exposed during this game. Yeah, so Spags had a brilliant call to this football game. Absolutely shut down a very prolific Ravens offense, who came in scoring a bunch of points this year so far. They got shelled, man. Offensively, they got shelled, and the defense still continues to be a problem. The defense is bad. It's bad. But, they're also not healthy too. They're missing Van Noy, not it's not Nande Matabuke is out for the year now with his neck. That situation is bad there. Roquan Smith got hurt. Marlon Humphrey, he's injury prone always. He got hurt too. Nate Wiggins like got caught. Like it is just bad, man. I would right now if I'm a Ravens fan, I am pushing the panic button. Like the first 2, 3 weeks, you're like, we're not playing good football. We're not finishing these games, but I think we can turn around. Now, wow, I don't even know if playoffs is. I mean, man, I don't know. Lamar's gonna have to go crazy, and Lamar got hurt too. He hurt his hamstring, but like they said, it wasn't smart to put him back in there down so many points, which in totality makes sense, but still concerning, man. It's still very, very concerning how the Ravens are, especially after week one, how we were crowning them potential Super Bowl um preview matchups. I don't even know if playoffs is even on the option right now. The Chiefs, they played a very, very good football game. They had Patrick Mahomes had 270 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, this is probably one of the best games that he's played in a really long time. I mean, he threw for 4 touchdowns. He was spreading the football everywhere. Chiefs offense looked really, really good, but maybe you could hold it back a little because they played a really bad Ravens defense. But still, nonetheless, I think it's encouraging signs, nonetheless, for Chiefs fans and how the Chiefs feel about their offense because they've been struggling all year. Um, who else? I forgot to say. I would, if I'm being honest, I think that if the Chiefs, once they get back Rasheed Rice, I think the Chiefs should roll out their three with Rice, Worthy, and Tyquan Thornton. I think Tyquan Thornton and Mahomes have had the best connection, you know, this year so far out of all the receivers that he's had with any other receiver because they've been connecting so well this year and the connection is starting to build more and more. And even with the deep shots and everything, with the route tree and everything, I feel like him and Tyquan Thornton have had the best connection so far this year. And if I'm being honest, when all the receivers, all their guys are back, their receiving core is pretty deep. I think that the first three should be Worthy in the slot, Rice on the outside, and Tyquan Thornton as on the outside too. You know, yeah, that's just what I would do. That's just what I would do. I think that's what I would run out there for the Chiefs this upcoming season. Before we go into the next segment, I think I found one special part of the show that I want to do, which is funny moment of the week. What NFL play made me dying laughing? And I did it last week, obviously, when Russell Wilson had his hilarious debacle with the goal line sequence and situation. But what about r- res- the Colts receiver Adonai Mitchell really having one of the worst football moments I think I have ever seen as well? I mean, bro, I think this is one of the craziest plays I've ever seen. So take a look at this, y'all. So Daniel Jones, the Colts had this game won if Adonai Mitchell just did his job. You know, take a look at this play. Daniel Jones launches a perfect pass and it falls right in Adonai Mitchell's hands. He catches it. He did his job. It was a seed. Catches the ball, spin moves, breaks two defenders' tackles. Emmanuel Forbes once again being hilarious, and then he drops the ball out of bounds. he drops, he touches the ball back, and he drops the ball before he got in the end zone, and the ball goes out of bounds, bro. He did everything right. And then he just drops the ball out of the back of the end zone. I mean, dude, he did everything right. He caught the ball, spin move, broke two tackles. That's a touchdown, 6 points.
And a little
All he
stiff.
had to do was just Just get in the end zone, then you can do your celebration. Celebrating too early, drops the ball out of the end zone, touchback going the other way. Bro, I actually when I saw this like in real time, like I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way that just happened. And then another play later, Jonathan Taylor had like a sick touchdown run that he had. And then he holds on the play before Jonathan Taylor can get even going. Like, oh my God, bro. Adonai Mitchell, if I'm Shane Steichen, that dude is getting benched for until he learns his lesson to not do that again. But what a that is the hilarious moment right there of the week. As we move into the next segment of the show today, the Giants and the Chargers. The Giants pulled out a upset win, 21 to 18. Rookie Jackson Dart in his first career start wins the game. Kind of in that slow grinder slugfest of a game. His performance might have saved some jobs for several members of the Giants, especially. Well, I want to send prayers out to John Mayer, who was not diagnosed with cancer. Joe Schoen, his job was saved. And Brian Dable, who was extremely desperate in his hot seat, was on fire, basically as heated as it ever could be. Jackson Dart saved them. And it wasn't like an amazing performance, but winning cures everything. Winning matters. And they won the game. I thought their defense played well, defensive line really. And I also want I thought they played fine. They played well enough to win. I mean, Jackson Dart gave the juice and the spark that's what the Giants were desperately needing at the quarterback position, and he was able to provide it. Just it seems like the Giants have life. That's what they needed. They were flatlining for a while, and then now they get the beep, beep, beep with Jackson Dart because they're playing with more energy and more passion. With Russ, it felt like the team was flatlining. That's just what it felt like. So, obviously, we shall see how they do next week against the Saints. I think they'll probably win that game, and then they have us and then somebody else. I think maybe the Vikings. I can't remember. But let's see how Jackson Dart he can do for the rest of the way. I mean, this is definitely an encouraging sign. And the Chargers losing to the Giants, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Justin Herbert, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Throwing an interception to Dexter Lawrence, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. All right, moving on to the final. Well, basically the last section of this segment of the show today. The MLB playoff predictions. The MLB playoffs are basically tomorrow. As you guys know, I love baseball as well, just as much as I love football. I'm a big time Yankees fan. Y'all know this. Um, the Yankees are in town in New York in the Bronx taking on the Red Sox. I have the Yankees winning this series in 3 games. I think the Yankees, I mean, in the Judge era, like the Yankees have not done well against the Red Sox in big series, unfortunately. And they need this badly. And the Yankees are they're hot, man. They played December. They're coming in hot. Judge is coming in on fire. Giancarlo Stanton's coming on fire. Ben Rice is coming on fire. Max Fried, Rodon had especially great years. So I think if your starters can play well, they hit well. The only concern is the bullpen. I think the Yankees are a better team than the Red Sox. It just comes down to execution. Can they play good baseball? Can they not have errors? Can they not have base running mishaps? Can they not have Judge not catching flyouts, not dropping flyouts? Can the offense show up? It's about the Yankees. I think, in my personal opinion, I think if the Yankees lose, it's on them, not on the Red Sox actually being better than the Yankees. That's just my take. That's just my take. Um, you know, the Guardians, the next wild card series, the Guardians play the Tigers. The Tigers are playing bad baseball. I mean, they had a 15 and a half division lead like a couple months ago. And then they just choked it. They were playing bad baseball. Like everywhere is bad. They can't hit, they can't pitch, they can't play. It's just bad. I think the Guardians are gonna sweep them. They have all the momentum right now. The Guardians had like a losing record all year, and they had one of the greatest like late August, September stretches I've ever seen. And they ended up winning the division, which is crazy. So I would go Guardians in two there. I think Scuba will pitch great, but I just think the Guardians will win. Dodgers and Reds are first of all, RIP to any Mets fans out there. Y'all had it coming, honestly. Y'all talk so much shit in the offseason with Soto and the Yankees and everything and whatnot. Had a $380 million payroll, and y'all just like didn't make the playoffs. That's pretty sad. Um, so I'm gonna go Dodgers. The Dodgers will sweep the Reds. Padres and Cubs. I think the Padres have a big blueprint to make a deep run this year. They really do. The Cubs, they had a really good first half, but they haven't played that well in the second half. So I would go with the Padres in three. I think they win one game because this game is in Chicago. Like the fans are gonna be loud and rowdy. So I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be Padres in three. The Padres kind of have a blueprint too of, also making a deep run. They have a great bullpen, great lineup, and they have a great starting rotation. Divisional round. This is when the Yankees play the Blue Jays. I have the Yankees in four. I think the Blue Jays will probably win one game, but I think the Yankees are better than the Blue Jays. I go Yankees in four, and the Blue Jays stink, and they always choke in the playoffs. Can you remember the last time the Blue Jays? Do you remember the last time the Blue Jays were in the postseason? They choked a 10-1 lead in the wild card against the Mariners. 10 to, or was it 8-0? It was something crazy like that. I can't remember the score. It was 3 years ago, but it was still crazy. Yankees in four. Guardians versus Mariners. I go Mariners in five. They also have a very good pitching staff and have a good lineup. They played well. They've won the AL West for the first time in like forever. They have the momentum. So I would go Mariners in five. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Guardians pull it out. So I think that game is going to go to the last game of the series and the Mariners win. Phillies and Dodgers. I go with the Phillies. The Dodgers, like, they're always the Dodgers. They always have the reputation, but like, you know, their bullpen has been bad this year. And if you have a bad bullpen going into the playoffs, you're not going to go far. And their rotation is not healthy, but it's been healthier as of late. Like, but if you're not going to have a good bullpen, like their bullpen hasn't been that great this year. If you're going to the playoffs with a bad bullpen, you're not going to go far. I just trust the Phillies. The Phillies have a good bullpen. They have a good starting rotation, and they have a good lineup. I will go with the Phillies. Padres and Brewers. Brewers are kind of the same thing. Great regular season, but they're kind of the same thing as the Blue Jays. They are notorious for just choking in the playoffs. I like the Padres. I think the Padres, once again, they have the blueprint to win. So I go Padres in five. Championship series, Yankees versus Mariners, the two MVP matches we'll talk about soon. I would go Yankees in six. I think Seattle will win, but I think the Yankees are going to win in six. Yeah, that's it. Padres and Phillies, a rematch of the 2022 NLCS. I had the Phillies in six because I think the Phillies are a little bit better than the Padres. And my World Series predictions, I had the Yankees playing the Phillies. So let me know what y'all think. That's my playoff predictions. You know, um, yeah, I mean, y'all could disagree with it. I think that's what's going to happen this year. The Yankees play the Phillies in the Fall Classic. Two East Coast cities going at it. New York versus Philly should and could be a very, very good World Series matchup. All right, moving on to the next segment of the show today. Aaron Judge's MVP case. Aaron Judge versus Cal Raleigh for the MVP. Honestly, guys, if I'm being so honest with you, like Aaron Judge is the best player in the sport. Kyle Raleigh is having one of the greatest years of a catcher that has ever happened in Major League Baseball. The guy hit 60 home runs. That is like he's having a better year than any year that Joe Mauer has ever had as a catcher. 60 home runs. But Aaron just has been the better player. He has. I just want to read you off some of his stats. Aaron Judge this season had a 1,145 OPS. The next closest in the AL this year was 959. Aaron Judge hit 53 home runs this year, the most home runs by a batting champ in MLB history. Not only is that true, he was also the batting title champ. He won the batting title. He had a 10.1 F WAR. The next closest F4 in the AL was 9.0. He had 36 intentional walks. Teams were afraid of him pitching him the ball, deathly afraid of him. They said, nope, just go to base. He had 36 intentional walks, more than each other 29 MLB teams. He had more intentional walks than some MLB teams. It's crazy. He had .60, he had 688 slugging. The next closest in the AL was 589. Led the MLB. He had a 457 on base percentage. The next closest was 399. And he had 331 batting average. The next closest was 311. And he had 24 go-ahead home runs. So not only was he very good, he was extremely clutch. Aaron Judge is the MVP. And I hope that he doesn't face voters fatigue because he was the best player, man. And if you take Aaron Judge off the Yankees, what are the Yankees without Aaron Judge? I don't think they're a playoff team. I don't. I don't think they're a playoff team. Aaron Judge should be the MVP. Kyle Wright had a phenomenal year. Great year. I think his importance is just as should be just as noted. He's an important player. He's a catcher. Catchers are important to a baseball team. But what are the Yankees without Aaron Judge? And look at it. You look at his stats. That's why I think he's the MVP. And that's gonna do it for another great show for Time Out with McCallie today, the live show today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment on the show today. This is a little bit of a shorter, live show today. I just, I had a lot to say about the Eagles and whatnot. I try to keep it a little bit short. I do have some things to do around here. But thank you guys again for tuning into the show. If you made it to here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please follow us on TikTok as well. Time Out with McCallie, Time Out Pod on TikTok, and on Instagram, Time Out with McCallie Pod on Instagram, and on Twitter as well. Time Out with McCallie. Please, thank you guys for tuning in for another great show. I'll be back for next week for another great show, recapping Week 5 and some more MLB playoff predictions and what's going on. Thank you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.